Hello Internet, and welcome to my review for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, episode 91. When we last left our heroes, Boruto and Sarada fought Kirara, who was crushed to death by a giant Akuta in a particularly brutal way to go. Garaga is seemingly pro Boruto at this point, though given by the next time preview for next week's episode, I think we'll be getting a bit more in-depth into what's going on with Garaga then. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before then, Mitsuki and Sekie hash it out. Sekie dies. It broke my heart. Not as much as Akun's death, but nothing will beat Akun's death. But yeah, and then the gang meets back up and goes to Ku's hideout, where Ku is waiting for them with the doctor's heart, and that's where we open up. And so something about the first half of really this whole episode, but especially the fight scenes, just seems kind of hastily edited. Like everything seems to be moving at like a 1.5 times speed. If that makes any sense. Like, it just feels kind of rushed. It feels very, very fast. You know, things just are happening at like a clip pace. It feels like it would be a bit more natural if that first half were more like 3/4 of an episode. I know that would kind of screw things up, but the back half, which was kind of uniformly great, I'll get to a little bit later. But honestly, the first half just feels kind of weird. But then, talking about the episode itself, Mitsuki goes Sage Mode in front of Boruto. Boruto is not smart enough to notice it, much like he did not notice Naruto going Nine-Tails Cloak during the Byakuya Gang arc. But he does go Sage Mode. He quickly, takes Ku and, fucking leaves, because he does not want Boruto to see him in his Sage Mode form. But, yeah, he does go Sage Mode. It doesn't last very long, yeah, but, you know, we do see Mitsuki in Sage Mode for a little while. And then we check in on the Leaf Village real fast. We find that Naruto just finally, has it with the Daimyo, and just fucking heads to the Stone Village on his own. Or maybe he gets the Daimyo's permission. It's not quite explained. But then we actually, check in on Teams 5 and 15, who I don't think we've seen in 20 episodes now. And they end up coming to the Stone Village. They don't do much. They're just there to welcome Mitsuki back and provide a nice capstone to the arc. Or not, because the arc goes into next week. But whatever. Talk more on that in the end. But then the show actually finds a use for Seki, who's just kind of been hanging around the periphery for a good while. But he does free Boruto and Sarada from the collapsing fortress, and hands them Onoki to go and deal with the climax. Speaking of the climax, Mitsuki versus Ku. So Mitsuki mentions having an unusual anger, and that's when Ku was like, "Hey, we're gonna use you to make even better clones." And then Mitsuki's like, yeah, I'm unusually angry today, so fuck off. And that's because of Sekie, right? I complained very slightly last week about not really getting to see Mitsuki, grieve. But it looks like we are, in a way. He just uses, instead of grieving in the more traditional way, he punches the shit out of Ku with his snakes. But after that, Boruto, Sarada, and Onoki show up. They get the hell out of there, fall down into the sewers after one of Ku's particle styles, and they end up in the Will of Stone room. The room that we've seen in all kinds of Onoki flashbacks going back to the Fourth Great War. All those, 2013 or so when that was in the anime? Even longer in the manga, probably. And this is where the episode gets together. The pacing starts to come together, gets much better once they reach the Will of Stone room. And I love this scene. Boruto acknowledging he doesn't really know anything about Mitsuki has always been a great part of this arc. And while it's something that, we've known and Boruto has known for a good long while now, it is still new to Mitsuki, and Boruto apologizing to Mitsuki for never really getting to know him is a great moment. It's the moment of reconciliation that we've kind of been leading towards all arc, and we finally get that here, and it is great. But then, of course, the final fight begins, and in the midst of it, in a blink and you'll miss it moment, Sarada gets her second Tomoe. You can't quite see it in her left eye. The second Tomoe is, like, hidden by the eyelid, but in the right eye, I think it's the right eye. It might be the left eye. I might be mixing them up. It is clear as day. She has two Tomoe. She's only had one since she met Sasuke back in, like, episode fucking 20 or so. But now she finally got her second one in the fight with Ku. I can't wait to see where she goes from here. I don't see her ever getting Mangekyo, just because the requirements for Mangekyo aren't really something that she would go through in her life. She doesn't really have, like, I don't think Chocho's gonna turn evil and then she's gonna kill Chocho. Given that Chocho is her best friend, I don't see her ever getting Mangekyo. But I don't think she really needs Mangekyo. For one thing, I'm glad for Boruto, especially in the manga, but the anime too a little bit, is not really focusing on Aijutsu. They, like, kind of overtook the original Naruto. It does have the Jogan, but the last time we saw the Jogan was, I believe, 60 episodes ago. So the Jogan, we have the Jogan. We don't really have the Jogan. But yeah, anyway. Then it would not be the end of an anime-only arc without a little Boruto stream, Boruto's favorite move. Because this is our first big anime-only arc since Boruto learned the Rasengan from Sasuke. It does turn out that the Boruto stream is just a bluff for Boruto to get a good Rasengan in that nearly kills Ku, but not quite, because now it's time for the moment I have been predicting for probably ever since the evil Onoki reveal. Onoki sacrificing himself to save Boruto and correct his mistake. And he gives his life to correct his greatest mistake, going out like a hero with, like, a huge fucking particle style that just annihilates Ku, pushes back Ku's own particle style onto himself, like Harry Potter blasting Voldemort's Avada Kedavra back at him. Does that give you a very specific sense of my age? I think it does. There's a very specific age that would make Harry Potter references, and I'm right in the middle of there. Anyway, but even though I did predict all that, you know, it's still not the details for sure, but, like, the basics of Ohnoki dying, stopping Ku. Even though I predicted that, it is still great to see, and it's so good. And then Ohnoki dies. He delivers some parting words of wisdom to Boruto and the gang, and then he just dies. And we cut to Kurotsuchi crying over his body. I do wish it didn't quite feel like he was dying, given that he was, like, sitting upright and not really seeming that different than he normally did when he died. But he's still dead. He is still dead. It probably would have made more sense if he was, like, lying down and not slumped against the wall, because slumped against the wall, it just looks like he's normally sitting up. But that's some really pedantic shit, even for me. So moving right along, Naruto shows up, finally, just in time to save the day. I mean, take the kids home, I guess. I mean, to be sure, if Naruto had showed up, there would have been no climax. Naruto would have just crushed Ku. If Team 7 and Old Man Onoki can beat Ku, Naruto could have, like, just put his hand over his head and just squeezed real hard, and Ku would have died. You know, we saw, if you read the manga in this weekend's chapter, just how fucking strong Naruto is. Naruto would have just come in here and wiped the floor with everybody. So I that's kind of something I was worried about for a good while. Naruto showing up and him just, like, creaming everybody, because he's Naruto, he's the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. I think he still has chakra from all of the Biju, by the way. That has not come up in a while. Or at the very least, all of them are still using him as a nexus or whatever. That was kind of a weird plot point. But yeah, Naruto shows up to take the kids home. Then Mitsuki is warmly welcomed back by his peers after he thinks that he will no longer have a home in the Leaf Village. And with that, Boruto's longest arc to date finally comes to an end. Almost. Next week is an epilogue episode as we deal with the ramifications of this arc. But before that, I'm going to talk about the episode as a whole. I'll talk about the arc as a whole next week once we get everything into like full perspective. But this episode was so focused on the fight that I feel like most of the themes got kind of left on the back burner. Like, sure, there was all that talk about will and the will of stone and what someone's will is, but a lot of the really meaty stuff about like what are the fabrications, are they any less human because they were artificially created, has kind of been left behind ever since the Kako fight. As great as the Kako fight was, the Kako fight was still, in my opinion, the highlight of this arc. Putting that out there. But anyway, if all the talking about personhood from the pre-Kako stuff kind of bored you, this was probably an episode you enjoyed immensely. While I did enjoy this episode, it definitely did bother me, though next week, given it seems that we're dealing with a bit more talky episode to round out this very talky arc of Boruto, hopefully next week will allay my fears. Also, as I said before, the first portion of the fight just seemed really fast, really choppy, really rushed, but it all made up for it with a genuinely phenomenal finale for Ku and Ohnoki's story. And honestly, even though I was predicting this for like several weeks now, I still can't believe they actually fucking killed Onoki. Like, it was the best way for this arc to go, but I still can't believe they did it. Holy shit, Onoki is dead. They killed a Kage in like what's kind of a filler arc. I mean, sure, the nature of Boruto and filler is something that we can debate till the cows come home, but like this is still technically a non-manga arc, and they killed a fucking Kage during it. Like dead as a doornail dead. Like a living Kage. They didn't like bring a Kage back to kill him there. They got a fairly major character from the original series and killed him off. I can't believe they did it. But next time, we deal with the consequences of this arc, both of Mitsuki's actions throughout the arc and of Garaga's relationship to Boruto. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the episode and the video. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe or do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. And as always, people, keep kicking ass, and I'll see you in the future. Bye!